Media Excellence. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. This bulletin is coming to you live from the Joy 99.7 FM studios here in Kokomlemle, a digital address GA0993341, also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country including ATL FM in Cape Coast, Radio Max in Takrady, and A1 Radio in Bolgatanga. It's also on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by UMB Bank, UMB Speed Up, Digibank, Let's Go. In this edition, government describes minorities' petition to Auditor General to probe its spending of money for food for vulnerable during the COVID-19 lockdown as premature.
Interventions are being made, the activities are ongoing, it's not being completed. Within that context, I think we can all understand how premature this call for a special audit, when the program has not even ended, comes across.
We'll hear from the Information Minister and speak live to the Minority Spokesperson on Finance, Tourism sector to receive major boost as government injects 9 million Ghana cedis into the tourism industry to boost growth following the harsh impact of COVID-19.
There is a $9 million grant to support improvements in tourist sites as well as grants to SMEs within the tourism value chain.
Also, living with a deteriorating body part will tell you the story of a breast cancer patient struggling to survive as her family abandons her amid poverty.
I have no one to help me. My family has abandoned me. Even the father of my children is nowhere to be found.
And in sports.
And that comes to you in 20 minutes, and we throw back to a world title winning moment 26 years ago.
And later on, Spotlight.
Music is my life. I can't stop singing. And the good thing in it is that I can still compose.
We hear from legendary highlife musician Nane Champon, credited for introducing Daddy Lumba to the music genre over 3 decades ago. That and more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apawu. Please stay for details. And this afternoon, the government has described as premature the minorities' petition to Auditor General to probe its spending of monies for food for vulnerable during the COVID-19 lockdown. The minority, which had filed a question in Parliament seeking answers from government on the expenditure, says it was forced to take the action after futile attempts to get answers from government. Kasio Latofosing is minority spokesperson on finance.
I will personally go to the Auditor General's office and hand to him a letter written by myself and backed by the minority, demanding for a special audit into the expenditure. And I've said 40 million first for the hot food, another 40 million for Ghana buffer stocks, 40.3 million for Ghana buffer stocks for the purposes of buying dry food. And then the component of the 200 million US Ghana cedis that was meant for the supply of waters in tankers, tanker services. We want to ask those questions. So we are asking the Auditor General to, as a matter of urgency, go into the matter and start investigating. I've heard the Deputy Minister for Information, Pius, saying that the Auditor General should not listen to the NDC, and if he does, he's becoming a puppet of the NDC. Really? So why is he scared of accountability? It's like somebody who's allergic to chloroquine and he takes chloroquine and starts itching. Anytime you mention accountability, this government want to hang themselves and hang the person who has actually asked for accountability. What is wrong to account to the people if you have taken the people's money for the purpose? What is wrong? We are only asking for something legitimate to be done. If you have nothing to hide, you should not fear accountability, just like we are not afraid of accountability.
But addressing the media during the COVID presser in Accra today, Information Minister Kojo Ponkroma described the minorities' petition as premature and accused the NDC of going ahead of themselves.
In Ghana, when government ministries, departments, and agencies that are doing whatever it is finish their work, they prepare their accounts at the end of the financial year, which accounts are audited by the Auditor General. Section 16 of the Audit Service Act says, in addition to this audit, the Auditor General may also conduct a special audit. As we speak, the COVID-19 response program is still ongoing. all of you are here because the program is still ongoing, interventions are being made, the activities are ongoing. It's not been completed. The accounts for the 2020 financial year, as I'm sure you are all aware, are nowhere near close to preparation. It will be prudent for all of this exercise to be completed, for the accounts to be put together, for the Auditor General to do a standard audit, and if he believes there's a reason to go further to do a special audit, may go further. Within that context, I think we can all understand how premature this call for a special audit, when the program has not even ended, comes across. But as we have said over and over again, it is increasingly becoming clear that our colleagues in the minority always look for an opportunity to raise some controversy in a hope to distract us from the COVID-19 response program itself. But we will not be distracted.
That's Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah there. Kasiola Tuforcing is Minority Spokesperson on Finance. He joins us on the line with some reactions to this. We are grateful for your time here on the Midday News, Mr. Tuforcing. So you've heard government. The response program is still ongoing, yet to be completed. Why the rush? Is it that you're always looking for an opportunity to distract government?
Emefa, thank you very much for the opportunity. And let me say that, yes, we are aware that some component of COVID-19 related expenditure is still ongoing. For example, the component that is meant for stimulus package, which is the 600 million, is yet to actually be undertaken. And we have some evidence that, yes, they've advertised and people have started filling some forms. But that is not what we are talking about. We are talking about the amount that was specifically meant for the lockdown. We are aware that the lockdown lasted for 3 weeks. Our president lifted the lockdown restriction 6 weeks ago. 6 weeks ago. And if I may not, the next 2 weeks' time, we're going to hit about 1 month. We have not heard from government what actually happened. Yet we've heard some evidence from Kumasi. And we all witnessed the haphazard nature and the low distribution of food in Accra, Tema, and Kaswa areas. And so what we are saying is simple. Because of what we've heard and some of the things that we've seen ourselves, it is prudent for government, one, to account, and two, to ask the Auditor General to go into the matter, get some information, and obviously, if lessons that the nation will have to learn, we learn from there. We cannot wait until the whole operation will finish maybe next year before we go into the matter.
But Mr. Forson,
situation, we want some answers.
Okay, Mr. Forson, but would you say it's prudent to isolate certain components of the whole program for accountability purposes?
Correct. It's exceedingly prudent in the sense that the COVID-19 related expenditures are in different components. The first component was the one relating to the lockdown itself. And we locked down for a specific reason. There are certain desirables, what we intended to achieve. What we intended to achieve, one, was to ensure that the ordinary Ghanaian, the vulnerable, is actually protected, and to make the lockdown very comfortable for them during the period. And that is why we decided as a nation to vote X amount of money for that purpose. We first of all have to understand that the lockdown was successful. The spend that actually we voted, did we actually receive got the needed outcomes that we were expecting or not? We have had evidence. In the case of Kumasi, no one, and I was thinking that the minister responsible for information would have seized this opportunity and say something relating to what happened at Kumasi Tapo.
Okay, but do you know how much exactly was involved in the lockdown policies and programs that were implemented? Do you know exactly how much?
Yes. The minister said to us that they are going to spend 40 million Ghana cedis to buy, for the purposes of buying hot food for the lockdown areas, Kumasi, Accra, Tema, Kaswa, and Ashama. 40 million.
And you have reason to doubt that monies went into the exact purposes for which it was budgeted?
Yes, we have serious reasons to doubt that.
Why is that?
Yes, we had market women from Kumasi, Tafo Pankono to a specific market, saying that the district chief executive, together with some functionaries of the assembly, brought to them some eggs to resell for them. eggs that were meant for the vulnerable, they have actually diverted it, selling it to the market women for profit.
That is a claim we are yet to verify, though. But I'll finally want to find out. I'll finally want to find out the status of your petition to the Auditor General.
Okay, before we get to the state, there's another 40.3 million Ghana cedis that was given to the National Buffer Stocks Company for the purposes of also buying dry food. No one has accounted for that money. And again, we were informed that they're going to use part of the 200 million Ghana cedis that was meant for the supply of water to give to the tanker operators and also to supply waters. We want to know what has actually happened. And what we are saying is simple. We've sent a petition to the Auditor General yesterday. We've asked the Auditor General to investigate this matter. It is for the Auditor General to make a determination, to tell us that yes, he wants to wait, or probably he wants to move in. We've not asked for much. We want the Auditor General to make a determination. After all, he's the one that is well positioned, and he's the one who knows what to do at the right time. So let us wait for the Auditor General for him to make a determination. It's not in the mouth of the government. It's not in the mouth of an individual or a minister. It is up to the Auditor General to make a determination. He's supposed to do his job. Let's wait for him to make a determination.
We're grateful for your time. That's Ato Forcing, a minority spokesperson on finance. Of course, we'll be checking from the Auditor General's department what the status of that petition is and what exactly they would do about it. This is the Midday News. You're on Joy 99.7 FM. Now, government says it has injected 9 million Ghana cedis into the tourism industry to boost the sector's growth. The tourism sector has been one of the hardest hit by the COVID-19, with hotels, restaurants and resorts witnessing a severe decline in patronage and revenue even as the country's case count increases. Currently, there are 8,548 confirmed cases with 3,132 recoveries and 38 deaths. But addressing the media at the Information Ministry earlier today, Sector Minister Barbara Otinjesi revealed government sourced the funding from the World Bank under the Ghana Tourism Development Project. She, however, explained the money will be assessed by industry players heavily hit by the pandemic.
There is a $9 million grant to support improvements in tourist sites as well as grants to SMEs within the tourism value chain. So $4 million is going to improvements in sites and $5 million is going to the SMEs that operate along the value chain of tourism. So if, for instance, you are a fashion designer, we are promoting Wear Ghana, and you make African clothes, you can access this facility to support your business.
Now, my colleague Mamiesi Nyameche Thompson was at that briefing and she joins us in studio. So, did the minister offer any details on how they will select those they classify as most needy of this package?
So, Emefa, this stimulus packages come in various criteria. They have the 600 million that was given by the NBSSI. Then they have the 3 billion facility given by the finance ministry. That is going to be assessed by larger industry players like the 4-star hotels, the 5-star hotels. But the 600 million is going to the small-scale industries that are on the value chain of the tourism industry, especially the hospitality industry. Yeah. So let's take a listen to the minister.
It's not in the interest of government that we register job losses in the sector. So the government, through the various stimulus packages, the stimulus package to the SMEs, which is being provided through the NBSSI, our small and medium enterprises are also going to benefit from this package. And the Ghana Tourism Authority is helping them to go through the processes and assess this facility. Then the 3 billion facility that the Ministry of Finance is also putting in place through selected banks. Our larger operators, that is our 4-star, 5-star operators, can also access that 3 billion facility to support their operations.
Now, Mamisi, we also know that hotels and restaurants are now being allowed to entertain guests, but not at full capacity. What more has the minister been saying about this?
So the minister says that they're going to abide by what the president says, that a number of 100 persons at a particular event. However, she's also saying that the carrying capacity of they're going to take 50% of the carrying capacity of the event center, and also they are going to go strictly by the safety protocols, wearing of face mask and all that.
You need to critically observe social distancing. Tables must be designed tables which are designed to hold 10 persons should be reduced to 50% capacity. So now the tables must hold a maximum of 5 persons. The MCs for the events must undertake demonstrations of the protocol to further educate the patrons at events. In order to limit movement and contact, we direct that plates must be placed on the guest tables in the course of the program so that guests can carry the plates themselves and obtain service. The waiters who will be required to wear gloves, and cocktails can be served with disposable cups. The waiters and all service persons must also wear masks.
Tourism and Creative Arts Minister Barbara Otin GC. Now, she's lived with breast cancer for more than 12 months, and one of them is literally rotten away. Agnes, a 43-year-old mother of 2, now lives every day in extreme pain and penury. To make matters worse, her landlord is threatening to evict her because her rent has expired. Daniel Dazi visited Agnes and has filed this report.
I'm at Wager Old Barrier here in Accra. I've come to see someone who has been trapped by poverty and imprisoned by disease. A 43-year-old mother of 2 has been suffering from breast cancer for over a year.
I have no one to help me. My family has abandoned me. Even the father of my children is nowhere to be found. As I speak to you, my left nipple is totally gone. There's a big sore. I was at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital when the swollen breast ruptured on its own. But I hid it from them. I was afraid that if I let them see and I was admitted there, there'll be no one to take care of my voice. It's constantly leaking fluid. Even when it's bandaged, the gauze gets so wet, it runs onto my back.
She's my friend. We're practically sisters. Initially, she managed to wash her clothes, but now she can't even sit up without assistance. She saws herself sometimes, especially if there's no one to help her.
The friend is Pastor Apawu. We preach at SCC Junction. Na Madam BFN Davy. Sister Yari.
My name is Pastor Apawu. I preach at SCC Junction. I was there one day and Davy told me her sister is sick. We prayed, but after dealing with the spiritual, we had to send her to the hospital. But she had no money. I could not find any of the sick woman's relatives. Whenever I call her siblings, they tell me, we'll come one day, we'll come next week, but they never do. Her landlord is also evicting her. Her living condition is appalling, but her family keeps ignoring my calls and appeals for help. Now her sister doesn't pick my calls, her brother doesn't pick my calls. Her sister finally told me she has no money to help seek health care.
Because I feel you need to catch him say, you say, you need to be on one or which media born in Yano.
That's Daniel Datsi's report. I had an earlier chat with my colleague Daniel Datsi.
Emefa, there's no proper way to describe what I saw. All I can say is that stepping into her apartment is like entering the scene of a very bad movie. Everything is in a total mess. There's a rusted fridge in the corner. There's an abandoned pestle and mortar. In her bedroom, she has no bed. She literally sleeps on a pile of rugs with her son. Her sons were playing under a table, Emefa, and I just kept asking myself, how can one person take so much pain, so much poverty? Her situation is, I shudder to say that it's nothing short of pitiful.
So what does she need now to make her situation better?
This is one thing we have not stated enough, but her landlord literally gave her 1 week to leave the house. Actually, our team had to beg him to give us 1 more week to air the story and see if we can get her some help. So she needs a place to stay. Probably, most definitely, she will need to go to a health facility immediately. And if she's able to go there, then maybe after that she'll need a better place to stay. And in the meantime, a way or someone to take care of her sons, because she's very passionate about her sons. And one thing that struck me about her was that she was more concerned about her children than her condition. So initially, when she realized that she had a lump in her breast, she kept on working because that was the only way she could support her kids.
That's my colleague Daniel Dazian, host of Joy Prime Morning. There's more on that. If you're led to help, you definitely can contact us via any of our social media platforms, and of course at Joy 99.7 FM. This is the midday news here on Joy 99.7, also live on myjoyonline.com and Facebook as well. Now let's head to the Apex Court, because they've asked the Electoral Commission to provide a legal justification for refusing to allow the use of existing voters' identification card as part of acceptable documents in the upcoming mass voter registration exercise. Now, a 7-member panel of the court, presided over by the Chief Justice, Justice Inini Abua, gave the order during hearing of a suit by the opposition National Democratic Congress challenging the Electoral Commission's decision. Court correspondent Joseph Akable joins us with details of this. Joseph, give us a brief background to this case and the proceedings in court today.
And so, Emefa, this is the case that the NDC contends that the Electoral Commission does not have the power to compile a new voters register, but it has the power to compile the register once and then review it from time to time by taking off persons who have passed on and persons who may not be eligible, as well as adding on others who have attained the age of 18. Another issue they raised in the court has to do with the fact that the law that will regulate the registration that the EC intends to undertake excludes the use of the current voter's ID card, and so they are asking the court to declare that that particular provision is contrary to law, and that the court should allow for the voter ID card to be used if it indeed goes ahead to grant the EC the power to compile a new voters register. And so this is the case that has been filed in court. The NDC was represented by Godwin Tamaklo, and the EC was represented by Justin Amenuvo. And the point that Chief Justice Kwesi Eniniabua made today was to the effect that they want the Electoral Commission to address the court on why it has decided to exclude the voter ID card from the list of the IDs, and they have to do that by Monday. By Monday, they have to provide that. By June 8th, they have to provide those responses in the form of legal arguments. The NDC's lawyers also have the opportunity to respond by way of points of law if they are minded to do so.
That's court correspondent Joseph Akable giving us details from the Apex Court. It's a good time to take a quick breather here on the Midday News. When we return, we have sports, and also on Spotlight, we hear from legendary high life musician Nane Champong, credited for introducing Daddy Lumba to the music genre over 3 decades ago.
Music is my life. I can't stop singing, and the good thing in it is that I can still compose.
When you want it, just Momo it. When you tire for the long queue in the supermarket, just Momo it. And when you really want that beautiful new blouse too, just Momo it. And when you won't get that, when you will get fresh to impress, you know who, just Momo it. And when you need to pay that your utility bill and domestic staff set, just Momo it. And when you want to send love to the family for back home, just Momo it. So many ways there. When you go use your MTN Momo wallet or make payments with scan to pay. When you go use the QR code, or you go use the merchant ID or on bank POS terminal. You go also transfer money between mobile money wallet and bank account, all on MTN Momo. Enjoy real convenience in all your financial transactions and live life the brighter way with MTN Momo. We are good together. Just Momo it. We're there for you everywhere you go.
Check out the new Melcom shop open at Ablekuma, Abanjina Bridge, Olebu, off Ablekuma Pokwasi Road, near Finest Filling Station. It is fully air conditioned and has large parking space. It's now in your neighborhood with over 20,000 items under one roof, ranging from electronics, homeware, kitchenware, furniture, home decor, electrical, supermarkets, and groceries. Your shopping experience just got better. Shop opens on Monday to Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Sundays from 12 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Terms and conditions apply. Melcom, where Ghana shops.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. Time for sports, and we are celebrating Aikwote. The journey so far.
Very interesting, and exactly 26 years ago, Ike Bazooka Kwote overcame all possible odds and won the WBA welterweight title. The interesting thing is that, the traditional place is the USA. Most of our champions won out of the USA, but he won in France. And at the time, President Jacques Chirac of blessed memory was convincing him to naturalize as a Frenchman, but he resisted.
Interesting. We're here.
Young Ike Bazooka Kwote, whose right jab was rated by the Ring magazine as one of the most lethal in the sport, went into the bout the underdog. He, together with his longtime trainer Oko Odampton, attended the news conference in the bout's promo t-shirts and sat quietly while they waited for the lanky Crisanto Espana, who was the man of the moment. The media focused on the Venezuelan, who was going into his third defense of the WBA welterweight title. But on the big day, June 4, 1994, the warrior from Brukum, Accra, proved a tough customer for the champion who had a solid previous record of 30 wins and no loss. Espana's 31st bout eventually landed in a TKO win for his opponent from Ghana, Ike Bazooka Kwote, in Levallois-Perret in Paris, France. That was the only loss recorded by Crisanto Espana in his career, which fueled his retirement one bout later. Ike defended the title 7 times after winning it, and hang his gloves after losing a non-title bout with his childhood friend Ronald Winky Wright in a
Aikwote, and I still think he should have won the bout against Oscar De La Hoya.
Well, I think so too. Loads of arguments. But the interesting thing before I go, Emefa, is that Oscar De La Hoya, who's now a promoter, a very big one of that, admitted in an interview years ago that Aikwote forced him to retire. That's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
That's your midday sport.
Thank you very much, Nathaniel Atto. And from Nathaniel Atto, I go to Becky with entertainment.
A selection of some of his popular songs over the decades. Ernest Owahene Nane Echampong, popularly known as Nane Echampong, is celebrated as one of Ghana's high life champions. He is credited for introducing Daddy Lumba to the music genre back in 1985 when they both met in Germany and formed Lumba Brothers. Nane Echampong is on Spotlight. Emefa.
Normally I was a gospel singer, and it's only when I met Nane Echampong who diverted me from gospel into that high lifestyle. I'm really grateful to him.
Daddy Lumba acknowledging the role Nane Echampong played in shaping his career in high life music. The two met in Germany in 1985 and formed a group, Lumba Brothers. They released an album and later went solo.
I've never had a problem with Daddy Lumba. We are still friends. We sat down and we talked about, Charlie, let's go solo.
The two are alleged to have fallen out and taken to the studio to throw shades at each other in what has now become popularly known as beefs.
I will release Shani Watcher December, and he comes out Bibi Jijo December, meaning I haven't heard what he is bringing. I don't write a song against my ex-colleague, and I think he also will never write a song because of me.
The Bwakwa native's high life music career has spanned over 3 decades.
Music is my life. I can't stop singing. The good thing in it is that I can still compose. I can still sing.
For those who may still be wondering, here is a sample of some of his popular songs.
And that's it for the midday news. You're on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I am Emefa Apawu. Thanks so much for your company.